And then to bring it back to the top of our little wheel, you have the people problem. Who owns metrics? Who's taking, if I came into your organization and I said, hey, who owns all of your metrics and KPIs, and who, more importantly, owns keeping track of all these things as they change over time? I had an illustrator come in and kind of try to encapsulate what I've seen over many years, and that sometimes you go in and it's somebody who is passionate and or assigned to manage this. Sometimes you don't know, and sometimes it's three people who may or may not be communicating with each other. So what happens when you need to really dial in and organize and collect and build a dictionary or glossary? You go through a traditional requirement gathering process. And so, with all of these problems, with that context of why we create a metric dictionary, I have actually, as DataTools Pro, I've gone into a handful of customers, kind of the manual way, and gone through this process and ultimately took three steps back and said, hey, we kind of have all of the meta information, all the metadata already exists, but how do we tap into that? How do we automate this process? And that's really the setup for DataTools Pro Metric Analyst. Rather than somebody going in, sitting down with all the business stakeholders, asking them, okay, what do you measure? What's important to you? How do you measure it? What reports do you use? What dashboards do you use? And then try to cobble together the story, create a document. At DataTools Pro, we're saying, okay, let's automate that. How do we know where the metadata is? We are very, we know how to tap into it. We know how to pull it. We know how to do analytics. And now we have generative AI and LLMs that can help us with some of the human reasoning problem. How do we put this all together so that rather than us starting with business stakeholders, sitting them down and saying, what do you measure? I'm letting metric analysts roll through Salesforce, reverse engineer the metric glossary, and I can actually start the conversation telling business stakeholders, here's what you're actually monitoring and using right now to measure the progress of whatever line of business or whatever topic. Now let's have a dialogue of how do we evolve forward from this. And it's literally flipping the process on its head. And so what we've done with Metric Analyst is we've actually implemented the solution. It's connected directly to Salesforce, and we've really automated this process.